Even though potato chips usually aren't considered a healthy food, Kettle Brand wanted to do things differently. Instead of thin chips made fast on a massive production line, they chose kettle-cooked chips, fried in small batches in big kettles. The slices come out thicker, extra crunchy, and the ingredients are often kept simple and easy to recognize. So how do they actually pull that off inside the factory? At the plant in Salem, Oregon, Kettle Foods fries more than 150,000 bags of kettle chips every day. That works out to roughly 2 million pounds of potatoes received and processed each week, running non-stop across 4 production lines to turn out batches of crunchy, flavor-packed snacks. For potatoes, Kettle often chooses the russet Burbank variety, known for its higher sugar and starch content, lower water content, and especially for absorbing less oil. That means the chips fry up crisp and sturdy without feeling greasy or heavy. The process starts out in the field at harvest. Because potatoes grow underground, farmers use a specialized digger, a machine that can cut down about 10 inches into the soil and lift up the whole plant in one clean motion, bringing up roots, rocks, and clumps of dirt along with it. Everything rides up onto a vibrating mesh conveyor, where loose soil is shaken off. Next, the potatoes move through a transfer system and drop into trailers driving alongside the harvester. From there, the trailers haul the potatoes to a large storage and handling facility. At the receiving area, the potatoes are dumped into an intake hopper called a grader. This is where a quality check table comes in, with 6 workers sorting and picking through the potatoes. A good potato isn't just the right length and size, it also has to look clean and whole, with no major bruises or damage. After the initial sorting, the potatoes are trucked over to the wet end of the Kettle Foods plant. It's called the wet end because the first steps all use water. First, the potatoes pass through a destoner to remove rocks and grit. The system uses a pumped water flow to move the potatoes along, while stones and heavier debris drop out into a separate channel. Next, the potatoes go into a drum washer. Inside is a rotating cylindrical drum that works like an industrial washing machine for potatoes. Pressurized water sprays all around. Heavy-duty brushes scrub the surface, and swirling water keeps the potatoes tumbling so everyone gets cleaned evenly. During washing, lighter things that float, like straw, small bits of debris, and other impurities, are separated out and collected for disposal, making sure the potatoes move on to the next steps clean and consistent. Next, the potatoes move deeper into the production area for a more thorough scrub. They're fed into one of 6 large surface scrubbers, and each machine is lined with a rough abrasive material. As the drum turns, the potatoes tumble non-stop, rubbing and bumping against the textured surface to knock off stubborn, stuck-on dirt. At the same time, high-pressure water jets spray everything down, washing the loosened soil away. Even after they're washed, the potatoes still have to be the right size. So next, they go through an automatic sizing system. The equipment measures and pulls any oversized potatoes out of the main flow, then sends them to a station that cuts them in half. That way, each piece is the right size to feed smoothly into the slicer. If a potato is too big, it can jam at the infeed and stop the line. Or it can throw off the blade and create uneven cuts, which means chips that come out too thick in some spots and too thin in others. And to make sure nothing slips past the machines, workers are stationed along the line doing visual checks. They quickly pull out any problem potatoes the system might miss, like ones that are bruised, damaged, or have defects. If an oversized potato still shows up uncut, they'll split it on the spot before it reaches the slicer. From here, the potatoes are pushed along through a water-powered transport pipe system called a hydro tube, which carries them across the plant to the slicing area. At the slicer, everything happens at high speed. The machine can handle up to around 4,000 potatoes per minute, producing consistent, uniform slices. Each potato is cut into about 29 thin slices, with the thickness tightly controlled so the chips fry up with the same color and crunch every time. Since kettle-cooked frying usually feeds potatoes in batches, the slicing system is set up to route slices between different lines as needed. That way, the plant can balance the flow into each kettle, keeping the fryers evenly supplied and preventing any one line from getting overloaded. After slicing, the chips drop straight into a kettle of hot oil that's gently bubbling. Here, they fry at around 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Kettle Foods uses safflower oil because it has a neutral flavor, which lets the potato taste and seasonings come through more clearly. During frying, the chip cooks standing beside the kettles play a key role. They constantly use long rakes to stir and spread the slices, keeping them moving. If the chips aren't spread out evenly, they can clump together, cook unevenly, and lose that signature crunch. The plant still uses this same hands-on raking method from the early days, staying true to the small batch, operator-involved style of kettle cooking. This frying method is also what makes kettle-cooked chips different. The slices are usually thicker, and frying in batches often creates light blistering on the surface and a firmer, tougher outer crunch. That's why they have that loud, sharp crunch compared to thinner chips. And because they're sturdier, kettle chips hold up better when you scoop salsa or dip without instantly snapping into crumbs. Once the chips reach the right golden brown color, the kettle's discharge door opens and they slide out of the oil. Right away, the chips land on a vibrating conveyor. The gentle vibration keeps them hopping as they travel toward inspection, helping separate the chips while reducing friction and pressure. It's a perfect way to move kettle chips since they're thicker and crispier. Next, the chips pass through an optical sorting machine. This powerful, bright light system is called OptiSort. As the chips move through the viewing zone, sensors read the color of each slice in a split second to spot any chips that are too dark or uneven. Anything that doesn't meet the standard gets instantly kicked out by a blast of compressed air, while the rest continues down the conveyor to the next step. But the machines only handle the color check. The final call still comes down to people. A trained team of workers knows exactly what a good chip looks like. Evenly golden, the right surface texture, and free of dark burns or shape defects. As the chips roll by, they watch non-stop and quickly pull out anything that doesn't meet the line's quality standards. After inspection, the chips are ready for seasoning. They're spread out and lined up as they enter the seasoning drum. Here, the plant prioritizes using real seasoning ingredients to create flavors that taste bold and layered. Before the seasoning can stick, the chips get a light mist of safflower oil to act as a binding coat. Then the seasoning is added in precise amounts while the drum keeps rotating and tumbling the chips non-stop. And these flavors are anything but basic. Sea salt and vinegar, jalapeño, backyard barbecue, and even honey Dijon. As the chips exit the drum, they drop into a multi-head weighing system, which portions them into exact amounts before feeding them into the packaging machine. When it's time for packaging, the chips feed into a system the plant calls by its real name: a form, fill, and seal machine. A continuous roll of packaging film is pulled forward, shaped into a tube, and sealed along the back seam. Next, sealing jaws clamp down to form the bottom of the bag, cutting and sealing in rhythm so each bag is shaped properly. Once the chips have been weighed to the exact target amount and dropped inside, the machine blows in a small puff of air to reduce pressure on the product, helping prevent the chips from getting crushed during shipping. Then the top jaws seal the bag shut, cut it free, and create the airtight top seal. Each machine has its own dedicated operator monitoring it, constantly checking seal quality and the weight in each bag to make sure every bag is sealed tight and filled correctly. From there, the finished bags move to the case packing area. Workers load the correct number of bags into each cardboard carton, and the cases are sent to be stacked, wrapped, and placed on pallets, ready to ship out to customers. And that's how those crunchy kettle potato chips are made. What do you think? Do you feel like small batch kettle cooking plus that neutral safflower oil makes these chips taste better and feel more authentic? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.